New face in Stephen Hauschka set to kick off for the Bills. Rodney Adams, the deep man, back in the end zone for Minnesota. Hauschka hits it. Adams fields it at the 1. Adams wrapped up just shy of the 20. Going from the shotgun. First look at that 4-3 D from Buffalo. Minnesota goes to the ground. It'll be a couple on first down, maybe to the 25. Bill showing pressure. Legs continue to churn.
Now the Vikings with a 3rd and 1, 2 solid runs to get them in a 3rd and short.
3rd and 1, Dalvin Cook, the tailback. Bradford, he's going to throw it. Finds the rookie from Florida State. First down, Minnesota. Fakes to Cook. Bradford underthrows his intended target, Stephon Diggs.
To get rid of it, and hence the early throw that was an incomplete.
Cook to the left. Met at about the 39 and pushed back. There's Marcel Darius there for the tackle. Pro Bowler in 14 and 15 and 7. Bradford from the gun. And Bradford is dropped.
Rush off the edge. That was a very nice play by Yarbrough.
Brandon Tate at his 20 to field this. He backpedals all the way. And he lets it bounce, and it's going to sit. It's a gorgeous punt from Minnesota. Jonathan Williams, the tailback. Taylor's going to throw it on first down, and it's complete. Sammy Watkins with the grab.
And LaShawn McCoy actually did not start the game. Jonathan Williams did.
How about Taylor? 2 for 2, first down.
Been to get the ball out on time early, and you saw that in both early throws.
How about 3 for 3? Why not?
Season.
That was a pickup of 14. Finally, they go to the ground. Jonathan Williams. Oh, a big hole! And Williams almost enough for a first down. First flag of the game comes in.
Came from deep in the secondary.
For 64. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, that's a call on Richie Incognito, and it came all the way from the secondary. Probably didn't need to do that, but it was a good call by the official.
First and 20, Taylor again to the air, miscommunicating there.
Easy penalties that you do before the ball's even snapped. That one's competitive. That one you can kind of let go.
Taylor under pressure. Taylor's dropped.
Penalty really put him in a hole, and they couldn't climb out.
Playing it safe. Williams the carry, and Williams making up a big chunk of it. Far from enough, but he was able to cross the 30 and man back standing at his 20. Adams is going to backpedal all the way to the 11. And finds a lane on the left, crosses the 20 and met by a trio of Bills.
Well, you can see him there on the sideline. He's backing way down away from the play, looking at it as a defensive coordinator on film, and there's another sack by his defense. Jerry Hughes again.
7-yard loss, 2nd and 17 for Bradford. He's looking right all the way. Bobbled a little bit there by Diggs. He's able to pull it in. That's the 2nd completion of the evening for Bradford.
Those guys, it's in his natural position.
3rd and 12. Dalvin Cook, the reception, met at the 25. Ryan Quigley on to punt. That's Brandon Tate standing at about the 27. High punt. Tate fields it. Met at the 35. Back out on the field. Tyrod Taylor still under center. The give. Boy, Williams has looked really impressive early on. A first down on first down.
Back lanes into the open space.
Pickup of 16, and Williams is going to get another carry. Not as much running room on first down. Williams empties the backfield. Taylor is going to go to the air. Taylor's going to avoid a sack. Oh, man. Those feet are magical. Run Tyrod to midfield. Taylor, 508 yards rushing last season. Tops among all quarterbacks in the NFL. Taylor again under pressure. Throws this one up. Had a man open briefly.
Rushing team. So Tyrod does contribute, but he's not the reason they're good on the ground.
Schmidt gets this one off. Adams. I don't know why he didn't call for a fair catch. He got stuck. Well, that's why. 41-yard punt and flag comes down late. seemed a little obvious.
No foul, unnecessary roughness. Kicking team number 37. Illegally tackling the fair catcher after the play. 15-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Maybe to the line of scrimmage.
It's called for, but the league hasn't gone to that yet, and I think maybe they should.
Bradford on 2nd and 10. Cook pretty good with the ball in his hands, and a late flag comes in. He's just shy of the first down.
Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty, second down.
He's fighting for playing time, and he's looked good, and it's transitioned to the game tonight.
Yeah, I think it's more than just fighting for playing time right now. He's fighting for a starting spot, and Wyoming's career tackles for him. 3rd and 4. Bradford, pretty good protection, running to his right now. Incomplete. Brandon Tate again out to field the punt. He's at his 21. He's going to charge it. He's going to wave everybody off. And it takes a Buffalo bounce. Boy, does it ever. Just a 31-yard punt. Guaranteed to get you in, and Tyrod Taylor remains in the game. Taylor with a quick little drop off to Jonathan Williams. Boy, Williams trying to solidify himself as that number 2 tailback behind Shady McCoy. He's seen a lot of the ball in this first quarter.
He had work proving that he should be right behind LaShawn McCoy.
Williams, another carry, this time to the left, across midfield. Holds on to the ball. Taken down at around the 46, and the sticks move again. As the lone tailback, give it to him, and he gets it, he cuts, he's across the 40, and down just about at the 30. You want to tackle him? No, thank you. Feed the machine. Yeah, oh, nice little fake. Taylor, play action. Almost intercepted. Last play of the first quarter. 2nd and 10. Taylor, complete. Watkins will be shy of the first down, although he's able to lean and make it pretty close. Watkins, tremendous first quarter in this opening preseason game for the Buffalo Bills. Tolbert, the new fullback, remains. He gets it. Well, he is met early, and he did not get it. He lost a yard.
Get it.
Line up his activities here at New Era Field. And that field goal attempt is good. Our first points of the preseason. Adams cutting to his right. Had his feet knocked out of him at about the 17 and finally dropped that close to the 20.
Number 36, that penalty's declined. Personal foul, grasping his face mask, kicking team. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
After 5 of 7 for 35, Case Keenum now under center. Keenum comes out slinging. Pickup of 6, 2nd and 4, play action. Keenum, who's looking, and that one broken up. Will there be a flag?
Yes. Oh, no, I don't know. That looked like a really good play to me. Jerry is right.
Defense number 26. Automatic first down.
Argument, but most of the officials around the league call that a bang-bang play and do not make that call.
Play clock getting down low. Keenum hands it off to Cook. Just a few. Darius right, Michael Floyd. Keenum's left, but he goes to the right. He locks it up, and two people on 2 different pages. Stacey Coley stopped his run, and the sense Minnesota's going to let this clock expire and push him back a little bit. So Brandon Tate inside his 10. Quigley the punter. Oh, it takes a beautiful bounce for Minnesota.
2 flags down in the backfield.
Half the distance to the goal. First down, timeout.
And special teams have put the Buffalo Bills in another jam with field position.
This seems to help Tyrod with this system as well as they both get acclimated to it. Give to Tolbert. He'll move the pile.
Tim Well trying to get this offense going.
More on Dennison in just a moment. Tolbert! Well, it's going to be fun to watch him run this season. Let's go back.
Rick Dennison has a lot of faith in this, and he also knows a lot about Tyrod Taylor. It'll be interesting to see how he incorporates him.
Complete to Corey Brown.
And that's stuck with him forever.
Brown, one of those guys who may have dropped down the depth chart with the pickup of Anquan Bolden. A little drop out and a big pickup. Nick O'Leary. Another first down for the Bills. Yates to give to Banyard. Joe Banyard, maybe a yard. See how the rest of the depth looks. Banyard remains in. Yates almost intercepted and really should have been. For 3 on third down. This is 3rd and 9 right now. Yates to the sideline, and the timing not quite there with Rod Streeter.
And Streeter got his head around the ball's past him, and the timing is completely wrong.
Stacey Coley is back to field this punt. He wants no part of it. Takes a Minnesota bounce, and it's actually Nick O'Leary who fielded it down there after that 32-yard punt.
For my birthday, they threw me a surprise party.
Hey, he sang Pete Bursage's favorite song. Anthony Harris. Bishop Sankey's the tailback. The former Titan gets the call on 2nd and short, and it's a major tackle for loss. Sankey, in his 4th year from Washington, to the left of 5th-year quarterback Case Keenum on 3rd and 3 from the 29. Keenum, under duress, ducks under 2 Bills, sprints left, turns up 30, and slides for the first down. Case is like, I want this backup job. Watch me duck.
Play. Let's see if he can finish the drive.
And on first down, play action. Case feeling good about himself. He'll go deep center of the field. Jarius Wright incomplete at the 12-yard line. Battery mate for Case Keenum on 2nd and 10. Midway through the second quarter, Bills lead by 3. Keenum protected sweetly, whips it over the middle, caught. Coley the cane heads to the right side, 45-40, 35-30. Stacey Coley out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Way to go, Coley! Floyd wide right, 6-year Notre Dame. Jarius Wright in motion, 1st and 10, Vikings from the Bills 36. Keenum takes a low snap, whips it over the middle, and it's caught at the Bills 27-yard line by the aforementioned Michael Floyd. It's a gain of 8. Now,
Keep him away from the first team. But once that second, third team rolling, you're going to want to get him, in my opinion, as many snaps as you can to get him into game shape, because you are going to lose him for the first 4 weeks.
Training camp this 2017 season, we are going to be on to something with him. Handoff Bishop Sankey left side, thrown down in the backfield for a loss of 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 8. And your guy Willie Beavers at right tackle. Keenum out of the shotgun, screen left. Bishop Sankey turns it up, cuts to the right, 25, forges ahead to the 19.
Is their attempt to slow down this rush?
Let's see Case find Michael Floyd. Looks left, 3rd down, nope, dump left, caught. Bishop Sankey about 2-3 yards in front of the line of scrimmage. Missed a regular season field goal since December of 2015. This will be a 36-yard try left hash. Kevin McDermott's snap is good. Quigley puts it down, and Forbath nails it from 36. High Forbath. And here is the kick. Marshall Kane, the one on the kickoff. Brandon Tate comes out 7 yards deep. Near side to the 5, to the 10, to the 15. And veteran Brandon Tate is smacked by linebacker Edmund Robinson after a 22-yard return. TJ Yates, the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, goes play action. TJ floats out to the left. He'll dump left, and it's caught for a shorty.
But going into the season, you're going to look for him to definitely play the nickel position.
Handoff left side, gain of about 3. We will chat shortly with Ben Lieber about his possibilities of winning a starting linebacker job. Yates dumps right.
The defense to the left, he lines up on the left. They call it to the right, he lines up on the right. And normally they have the 3 technique defensive tackle in front of him to protect him.
Okay, now with Gideon, what do you think of his prospects not only of making the team but contributing?
Oh, I think he's definitely going to make the team, and he should contribute not only just on special teams, but it sounds like he's going to get ample opportunity to actually crack this starting lineup. Yeah, he's definitely going to miss it, but I just saw a picture on social media as well. He's got basically his feet kicked up at a restaurant.
The first preseason game that's been consistent and has played well, it's that group of defensive line. They've been getting pressure on the quarterback all day.
Coley with a fair catch of a punt at the 27-yard line.
A team to spend a little extra money on the priority free agents. Get these guys in here because they're going to work out. And you look at a guy like Tayshaun who just had a big sack. Anytime you get that quarterback on the ground, Paul, it's a big deal.
Keenum shotgun. Vikings have 3 timeouts. Whips it out to the right, and it's caught at the 35-yard line.
You take a look at Adams and you compare him to Coley, and you can see Coley's he came in from a different system. He's just a little bit ahead, I think, as far as running routes and learning defenses and figuring out where to go.
Screen to Sankey, right side, got about 5.
Well, there's some little things right, so it'll be an interesting battle for both those two.
Keenum, 9 of 12, 84 yards, whips it left, caught Rodney Adams, and he's blasted. At the Bills' 34-yard line, Rodney, the rookie, pops up nicely right. 42 seconds to go in the first half, 3rd and 4. Keenum looking left. He's encountered by a defensive lineman, fires right, nearly intercepted. Leslie Frazier a little bit in the second half. High snap to the punter. Brandon Tate with a fair catch inside the 10-yard line. And the punter that time was Tyler Semang.
Intentionally either, so a lot of ins and outs of that spot.
Yates hands it off to the tailback, heads to the left side, deep in the first half. Will Sutton, former member of the Chicago Bears, in the game and also part of the tackle. And that should be the final play of the first half. The Bills get the ball to begin the second half. 3-3 as we head to halftime. Stephen Hauschka with a 42-yard field goal. Kai Forbath was good from 36. And Dalvin Cook celebrating his 22nd birthday.
Shoulder after he rolled over on a tackle, and we'll have to monitor his progress.
There's Kai Forbath's kick, about 2 yards deeper than Marshall Kane's.
Running down, these guys are flying up the field trying to sack the quarterback. That's just not being disciplined. It's not being smart.
Ball out to the 25 following the touchback. TJ Yates floats out to the left, incomplete. Dumped it.
He's not playing the Mike position. He's playing the outside linebacker spot, so he's getting a few snaps, allowing Ben Gideon to get inside and play some Mike.
Yeah, Gideon goes to the middle. Emmanuel Lemur is to his left. Swing to Joe Banyard across to Leslie Frazier. It's 3rd and 3 for TJ Yates from his own 32. Game tied at 3. Yates looks left, throws left, incomplete.
They run good disciplined routes. I like what I see out of that young man, and I always get an opportunity to return some punts. This is how you make the team, returning punts and returning kickoffs.
Here's Coley. Shakes on a couple of Bills. Game tied at 3 early in the third quarter. 1st and 10 Minnesota from its own 31. Keenum back to pass, whips it out right, and it's caught for a first down. Caught by Michael Floyd. Rookie Pat Elflein, the center. Case Keenum, the quarterback, hands to Rodney Adams on an end around left to right. Rookie turns it up across the 50 to the 45. And brings the new left guard. Keenum under center, 1st and 10, game tied at 3. Handoff goes to Bishop Sankey, room to the right side, 40, 35, 30. And Bishop Sankey, the former Tennessee Titan, down at the 27. Emphasis on the word down. Eric Sugarman. High formation on 1st and 10 from the Bills 29. Case Keenum, the quarterback. Handoff goes to C.J. Ham. C.J. Ham working as some fullback / tailback for the Vikings. Falls ahead to the 28-yard line.
Well, I know guard is a much easier spot. It has its challenges, but for TJ being out at tackle and then moving in the guard, he's going to like having a guy on either side and not being on the edge of an offense anymore to play. But he did struggle with speed on the edge, and Paul, that experience is fantastic. You look at a preseason game compared to a regular season game, no problem.
Keenum fires down inside the 5, and it is caught by Coley the Cane.
Finds Coley deep. Coley's got to stay on his feet, find a way to stay on his feet. They're going to challenge it. But Coley's got to understand as a wide receiver, one knee is 2 feet. So he got the right knee, and the question is whether or not that left knee was out of bounds.
All right, now a challenge from new Bills coach Sean McDermott.
Buffalo's challenge, but the pass was incomplete.
Terry McCauley.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
Wow, that was fast.
Caught the ball, controlled it with one knee on the ground. Buffalo is charged with their first timeout.
So Ham is the tailback in a game that has lacked touchdowns. Handoff CJ goes burrowing up the middle, grinding inside the 1. Touchdown Vikings! C.J. Ham runs the Vikings to a 9-3 lead.
From the 2-yard line, really just kind of cram it down the throats of the Buffalo Bills. You see Ham churning and pushing the defensive line back. So nice short yardage run by C.J. Ham.
Including Josiah Price, who was the lead back for C.J. Ham. Here is the extra point. He will carry you through that sequence momentarily. Boom. There's Marshall Kane's kick, deep and high and bobbled. And to a knee goes the kick returner. And here comes T.J. Yates and the Buffalo Bills. 3 receiver set, 2 to the left. Handoff goes to the tailback to the right side.
How'd it go? First preseason game. You know, you had a couple weeks of training camp. How'd you feel out there?
I mean, it was good. It was nice to get back out there and competing against somebody other than our own teammates. And, yeah, I mean, we're going to have a lot of things to work on, obviously. So I think for me, it's just taking it one day at a time and trying to help this football team win as many games as possible and just doing my job along the way.
Now you've had Sam Bradford.
Things like that. So it's been great just to be able to get on the same page. And even today, we were, talking on the sideline a bunch about what we saw, what we like, what we would have done differently, and things like that.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Rodney Adams muffed a punt. Case Keenum finishes 11 of 16, 121 yards. And Taylor Heineke, undrafted from Old Dominions in the game. Handoff to the left, and that'll be a loss of a couple of yards.
He's kind of a scrappy quarterback.
He's been around here since 2015. Injured himself in the preseason last year, injured a foot trying to assist a friend, and was lost. Now in this 2-horse race, I'd make Keenum favored. Curious to see what they do at Seattle next week. They could flip the order, with Heineke being the immediate backup to Bradford.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
I mean, we've seen that.
Touchdown out of the offense. So his advantage is the leadership. He's been down this road before. He's played in a number of NFL games. If you get a bad snap, Heineke.
Low snap to Heineke. Steps up. Taylor runs left side. 40, 45. Turns it up 50. Taylor Heineke with the wheels.
Be that kind of quarterback.
Searles, Clemmings, Elfline, Isadora, and Beavers, the offensive line. Heineke play action, flag on the play. Taylor, deep shot, man there. And inside the 5-yard line, absolute pass interference against James, a member of the Bills secondary. But we'll see what the first penalty is. Coley.
2 fouls in the play. Holding
us.
Offense number 68.
That's great.
Pass interference. Defense number 38.
Yeah.
Penalties offset. 1st down.
Yeah, you're getting more deep shots down the field to spread and try to loosen up this Bills defense.
Caledonia's Isaac Frichte, second year from the University of Minnesota. Heineke back to pass, shakes off a defender, dump left flat, caught C.J. Ham, great shoulder shrug and move. Coley left, Adams slot right, Frichte outside of him. Vikings lead 10-3, 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. First down, Taylor Heineke back to pass, slings it out to the right, incomplete. The tailback, undrafted from Nebraska. Newby gets the call, tries to swing out to the right side, and he's mugged. In the Bills 41, Taylor Heineke out of the shotgun, 2 receivers left, 1 right. Taylor backpedals, loops left, and it's incomplete. Isaac Frichte nearly was able to bring it in near side. Greg Mabin, an undrafted corner from Iowa.
Defense number 97.
Meanwhile,
low to the head neck area of the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's Marquavius Lewis, undrafted defensive end from South Carolina.
Well, the Vikings, they get, here it is, the hand to the, that's up there. That's close enough that they're going to call it.
Said I right behind Taylor Heineke. Josiah Price, the tight end, is the up back. And the handoff goes to Newby. Versus the right tackle. As Taylor Heineke goes play action. Taylor looking to the left, now swings it. Center of the field, incomplete.
You got to give him credit. Taylor Heineke hanging in there, getting pummeled right now. Wide smart with the ball.
Wide receiver Caleb Jones out to the right. Handoff to Newby. That's very sneaky. Angles to the right side, 25-20. And he's taken down at the 16-yard line, Terrell Newby, with a gain of 9 on 3rd and 8. Jones near side, his brother Zay is a rookie receiver for the Buffalo Bills. Heineke, empty backfield, goes out of the shotgun, looks to the left, sees nothing, floats out to the right, fires, and in serendipitous fashion, it is caught at the 7-yard line by Terrell Newby. 2nd and 2. Heineke under center, Newby the tailback, Terrell gets the carry. Lowers the helmet at the 5 and bulldogs his way to the 3-yard line. From the 3, 2 tight ends to the right. Newby gets the call, scoots up the middle between the hash marks, grinds to the 2. Yankee on 2nd and goal from the 2. Goes out of the shotgun, walks up to Pat Elfline, offers up some instruction. It's going to be a fade right for Fricky, incomplete. Heineke, shotgun, Newby to his left, 3 receiving options to the left. Heineke fakes a toss left, floats it out to the right, caught Rodney Adams, reaches for the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings! Rodney Adams, the rookie receiver from South Florida.
We would get our second challenge of the game.
No, all touchdowns are reviewed.
He did rule it a touchdown, so.
Extra point try from the 23 between the hash marks. Snap spot, and Kai Forbath's kick is good. And receive 250 points. Visit Vikings.com/rewards. Boom, there's the kick. With the Vikings leading by a couple of touchdowns. And Ross comes out of the end zone, 15 to the 20.
Improvise. You have a broken play, avoids the blitz, bad snap, pulls the thing down, and just get a touchdown. So I think Heineke did a very nice job. Both backups look pretty good, and battle continues. And you're right. We'll wait till next week to see. Maybe Heineke will get that, get the nod to go second in case Keenan will come out there and be the number 3 quarterback.
Rookie in the most recent draft from Pitt. As we approach the end of the first quarter, the rookie Peterman goes under center, trailing 17 to 3. It's a handoff to the left side, and that will end the 3rd quarter to be better. Peterman, the rookie, on the 1st and 10. Flag on the play. Handoff goes to the right side. It's Cedric O'Neal, first-year guy from Valdosta State.
10-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty against the Buffalo Bills.
All kinds of laundry on the field. There may even be multiple penalties.
Illegal block in the back on the offense, number 87. That penalty's declined.
The Peterman, the rookie from Pitt, he's the quarterback. Vikings rush 5. Peterman wings it out to the right, incomplete.
Their fair share of snaps tonight.
2nd and 20, Peterman with a wide receiver screen left to Lewis. Caught at the 35, turns it up inside the numbers to the 40, and he's taken down at the 42-yard line. Antone Exum. You can see 32, top of your screen, playing the nickel corner role as Peterman fires over the middle, knocked away. That's Terrell Sinkfield. Flag on the play.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, defense number 94.
Yeah.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jaleel Johnson.
All these veterans corners in front of you, you learn from them though. It's a harder challenge, harder to make the team, but you see those old guys do it right, and it makes the younger guys do it right.
Peterman fires right. Whoa! And Adams with a 2-yard touchdown reception from Taylor Heineke. Handoff goes to the right side. That is Cedric O'Neal, first year from Valdosta State.
You'd like to see the rookie Dalvin Cook block a little bit longer on that play fake, but still inexcusable for the ones to give up 2 sacks
Peterman
to the first 3 series.
Peterman sprints to a first down. With entertainment, content, and Game of Thrones leader for the Vikings Entertainment Network. As Peterman tries to ruin Harper's birthday by sprinting inside the 20.
Happy birthday to him, and I think he did a very nice job. He was used in a lot of different aspects of this offense. So there's
Peterman fires left, ball bobbled, nearly picked and pulled in. Gain of 4.
And they don't catch him on the first try.
Peterman under center, hands it off to Johnson. And Johnson heads to the right side, hit at the 11, falls ahead to the 10-yard line. 3rd down. Peterman out of the shotgun. Looks left, fires center of the field, caught for a first down. 1st and goal, Buffalo, trailing by a couple of TDs. Peterman, fade left, back left to the end zone, and it is caught for a Buffalo Bills touchdown. The first touchdown this evening for the Buffalo Bills. It goes from Nathan Peterman to Desmond Lewis. Oh, it's on Terrell Sinkfield from Hopkins.
Now just got him in space.
17-9 Vikings, snap spot. And the extra point is good. Our touchdown reception, and it is 17-10. Vikings leading the Buffalo Bills. Here comes Rodney Adams to the right side, sprinting across the 25 to the 30, and that's where the Vikings will start.
How's that feel?
It feels good, man. I got drafted here in 2010, 4th round, and I've been working my way up the ladder, and and they put a lot of faith in me. We're giving my second, now they're giving my third. It just shows me that I just got to go out there and help this team win a championship. That's what we do, and it's exciting to have them guys locked up and and be a Vikings for life with Xavier and Limbaugh too as well.
All right, last year you guys were dominant on defense, but a little leaky in the run game. Ranked 20th last season in run defense. How do you change that this year?
With this, Peter.
Well, when you get in that situation as a quarterback, you've got to live to play another down. It's second down. Throw it away. You're out of the pocket. Do not force something. So as soon as he threw it, I think he knew it was a mistake, and now you're giving the Bills a chance to tie this thing up from the 30-yard line.
Peterman rolls out to the right, fires, and it's caught at the 20-yard line. It's a formidable pass-rushing duo, Peter.
It is, and you saw a lot of that tonight. I think both the defensive ends did a wonderful job. You look at the position group, second-team defense.
Odinabo, the rookie from Northwestern, left defensive end. Tayshaun Bauer, fellow rookie, right defensive end. Peterman passes right, and the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage.
There's guys who have played on great defenses in college.
2nd and 10, Peterman back to pass, looks left, passes left, and it's caught. No, it's not.
Look at a couple of rule changes. We saw the replay change. Maybe we'll get an overtime change.
Peterman shotgun, fires to the end zone, swatted away by Eric Wilson. Undrafted linebacker, sweet on the drop for number 50. Sean McDermott going for it, 4th and 10 from the Vikings 17. 8 minutes to go in the game. Minnesota leads 17-10. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Peterman, the rookie, back to pass, flustered. Will Sutton almost had him. Peterman sprints, looks down the field, fires, dropped! Tywan Jones, the free agent pickup from Oakland. Able to somehow smuggle a pooch into a football game on a non-Dogs at New Era Field night.
Yeah. Well, he's a working dog, right? It's been kind of history ever since.
Heineke under center on 2nd down. Not to go to hardcore football 101, but they are switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3. And Taylor Heineke switched from a quarterback to Quigley to punt. McDermott with the snap. Quigley, the former Cardinal and Jet, with a very high punt. Retrieved at the 36-yard line. Flag on the play. Another flag on the play. Eric Wilson nearly had an interception. Good in the fray. Terry McCauley.
During the turn, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 45. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
We go to the Bears for game number 5. This is a Monday Night Football game. Tayshaun Bauer runs down the tailback.
Forward to that one.
Couple of receivers left, 1 right, 4:57 and counting to go in the game. Nathan Peterman back to pass. And he fires it out to the left. It's caught at the 41-yard line, just a little bit shy.
Any alleys to see through. They've been successful in doing that lately, but Peterman's making the best of it.
3rd and 1. Peterman boots out to the right, sprints away from Will Sutton, and trots out of bounds after a gain of 5. So didn't fit in. Ends up with the Vikings in the 4-3, working with, maybe the best defensive line coach in the NFL, Andre Patterson.
A little bit tonight. He had a penalty, but he had a sack. He's been getting in the backfield. I think for a big guy, he has really good feet. And
need to go in the game. 17-10 Vikings. The Bills have the ball on 3rd down. Peterman throws it behind the intended receiver, along with Jaleel Johnson, Tayshaun Bauer, part of the defensive line. Peterman takes the snap, fade out to the right, awful pass, and the Vikings have turned over the Bills on downs once again with 3:31 to go in the contest.
Peterman fits that mold as the number 3 guy. Give him some time.
Newby, the tailback, I formation behind Heineke, handoff to Newby, and he'll grind his way for a few yards, making it 2nd down. Then 17-10 Vikings. Tight end Carter goes in motion, handoff left. It'll be third and relatively short. Timeout. Buffalo
actually throw the ball deep, and they've been executing pretty well.
And Ben, with Bradford last year, his yards per attempt was not great. Heineke sprints out to the right, throws it away. He set the NFL record completion percentage at 71.
Make the offense more dynamic this year, but that starts with the offensive line.
Taylor Semank with an end-over-end punt. Fair catch at the 9-yard line. 2:24 to go in the game.
Quarterback can throw for over 4,000. But the thing is, you can't just be one-dimensional. And I know that the word balance gets used a lot when it comes to offense. And
38-77 last year, but the team ran for 3.2 yards per carry. So I'm saying if that rushing average gets up dramatically, but his yardage maybe comes back a little bit, but here at New Era Field, momentarily, yes, 2-minute penalty flag first.
False start, offense, number 60.
2-minute warning, Mr.
5-yard
McCauley.
penalty, second down. This is the 2-minute warning.
It's humid this evening. Got to make sure main man or girl is getting a fair amount of water. I mean, just one of the cutest little bands around its neck. It's beautiful. Peterman fires left. Season games on the line. Receivers left and right. Peterman back to pass. Fires left. Oh, it's caught for a Bills first down.
That was tough for Sinkfield to defend, so just a great throw by the quarterback.
Peterman back to the left side, and it's another reception. Game number 1 on the line. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Peterman on a deep drop. He's flustered. He's hit, and he throws it away.
Game.
3rd and 4. Peterman, short drop. Now it's a deep drop. Screen left, incomplete. 1:10 to go in the contest. There's a bad snap over the shoulder of Peterman, and the Minnesota Vikings are 1-0 in the preseason.
Sometimes the scheme just helps out.
Sam Bradford finishes the night 5 of 7, 35 yards. Basically the best running back in the history of Florida State University. 5 runs, 13 yards, 4 catches, 30 yards. Terrell Newby averaged 2.2 yards per run. Would have been imperfectly last year. Case Keenum, the veteran backup quarterback, 1 run for 14 yards. Stacy Coley, the 7th round rookie from Miami, 3 catches, 67 yards. Stephon Diggs only had 1 catch. Who cares? He'll have more in the regular season. Michael Floyd, a couple of catches for 20 yards. Dalvin Cook once again with 4 catches. Jarius Wright had a catch for 9 yards. Rodney Adams, the rookie from South Florida, 2 catches, 12 yards and a touchdown.